Good evening, everyone, and welcome to In Awe. I'm excited to join you as we gather together to celebrate women. Women who are breaking the mold, women who are taking risks in business, and women who are thriving as entrepreneurs in the Tampa Bay area and across Florida. I am Melanie Williams, Senior Vice President of Operations for Frontier Communications for the South region, located right here in downtown Tampa. Recognizing the Tampa Bay region as a vital and thriving environment for innovation and entrepreneurship was key to Frontier's investment in Florida more than 4 years ago. As we entered the Florida market, we understood the importance of creating a community with superior connectivity and technology. And we understood the major role those factors would play in Frontier's growth, as well as the role they would play in empowering opportunities for women entrepreneurs throughout the region. Today's In Awe event is a great example of the power of that connectivity. It allows us to support and learn from one another, even virtually. Personally and professionally, I am proud to be a part of an effort that breathes life in our economy by bringing together important resources to support entrepreneurial spirits. Sometimes the most important resource we have is the community we build around us. I am thrilled to be a part of this conversation and hope you will feel supported, celebrated, and inspired by this group of incredibly creative, strong, bright, and determined women. However, being a woman can be hard. Our obstacles, our roadblocks, our naysayers. I know many of you have experienced the challenges of simply being a woman in the world. And that's before you even add in the pressure of starting or growing a business. But just because you feel like you might be forging a path less traveled, that does not mean you're traveling it alone. Quite frankly, there are several of you in the audience who have contributed to my success and who continue to support me and Frontier today. So I know I also speak on behalf of my Frontier colleagues when I say I am glad to have the chance to thank you by investing in the community of women that have passion, determination, and commitment as they've entered the market and worked to move their business forward. And as we continue to look forward, Frontier Communications is committed to Florida. We are working hard to accelerate our own national reputation as a leader in innovation and entrepreneurship, and in turn, help to increase the investor networks and support systems available to our region. We know the tools we provide are critical to small businesses and women leaders who are pursuing their dreams. And we are excited to continue to grow our own business in a community which values and celebrates the insights and strength and contributions of female leaders. As we prepare to hear from our presenters, I encourage all of you to listen for spaces where you can get involved in supporting women-led businesses. Whether you're creating, growing, investing, or buying from them, you're helping to create a sisterhood of support. Today, we hope each of you will be inspired to reach higher toward achieving your own goals and to reach out to the fearless dreamers around you. Tampa Bay has an incredible community of women, and we're at our best when we support each other. Welcome to investing in, nurturing, and accelerating women entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Melanie. That was amazing. My name is India Whitty, and I'm joining you from the scenic colonnade of Martin Luther King Jr. Plaza at the University of South Florida's Tampa campus. I am honored to be part of this wonderful event. My name is India Whitty. I am the Executive Director of USF Women in Leadership and Philanthropy. We are celebrating our 15th anniversary of influence and impact. We were founded in 2005 as Tampa Bay's first philanthropic membership organization, promoting the advancement of women through strategic investments in scholarships, leadership development and mentoring opportunities, and in our female faculty. Fast forward 15 years, and we have now over 330 members, 26 corporate partners, and we have invested over $1.5 million to advance our ideals and support women in our 3 USF campuses. In WLP, we like to talk a lot about the power of the collective, and I believe personally that our success is directly attributable to our ability to leverage the collective power of the time, talent, and treasure of our members to benefit our students and faculty through WLP, our One USF community, and our region. Tonight's event is also a great example of the power of the collective, only amplified and virtual. WLP is thrilled to partner with our area's most prominent organizations in the startup space, Synapse, Tampa Bay Wave, and the Embark Collective, which happen to all be helmed by women, in collaboration with Tampa Bay Business and Wealth magazine to present the inaugural In All, Investing in, Nurturing, and Accelerating Women Entrepreneurs event. This innovative virtual experience by women for women represents a revolutionary effort to support entrepreneurship, innovation, and women-run companies by leveraging the power of the collective resources to advance women as innovators and tech entrepreneurs in the Tampa Bay area. Because WLP's mission is to advance both women and the strategic goals of USF, collaborating with Synapse, Wave, and Embark was a no-brainer. We also celebrate the leadership of our amazing member, Dee Garcia of Tampa Bay Wave, who conceptualized this event and truly brought it to life. Congratulations, Dee, and thank you so much for bringing WLP to the table for this partnership. And we are also so thrilled that many members of WLP are participating in this program as either presenters or panelists. And finally, I am thrilled and honored to announce that due to the generosity of all of our participants and supported by Tampa Bay Wave, a $1,000 scholarship will be awarded through WLP to benefit a young female student in USF's Muma College of Business's esteemed entrepreneurship program. That's just amazing. Thank you all. Events such as In All and the myriad of other programs these startup hubs deliver go a long way to help generate a more enhanced ecosystem for current and prospective women entrepreneurs. This is such an amazing opportunity to invest in the present of the USF community because these hubs function in the same region that USF functions in. And creating a better ecosystem for women entrepreneurs benefits our students now and in the future. We want to create a landscape where they stay in Tampa after they have achieved their degree, and we truly as a community benefit from their thought leadership and the economic growth and development that they can help drive. Even if USF or any of our other amazing institutions of higher learning in the Tampa Bay region are not your alma mater, you really should consider supporting both the universities and these regional economic development drivers, because rising waters lift all ships. What's best for our region from the entrepreneurship and business development space is best for all of us. The Tampa Bay region is gaining national and international renown as a tech-enabled innovation hub that is a hotbed for entrepreneurship. And that's what brings us to this evening. Tonight, you will be hearing from an amazing group of women. Many of my idols are going to be part of tonight's program. They'll be sharing their points of view about the companies they've started or how they support startups as investors, mentors, and coaches. First, the Honorable Alex Sink, the former Florida CFO and one of only 3 women ever elected to statewide Florida office, although we do need to change that. Will share why she became interested in supporting and investing in startups. Alex is a past chair of Tampa Bay Wave and continues to serve ably on its board, as well as other boards in our community. She is a great coach for the companies in which she invests, taking a personal interest in supporting their success. Following Alex, Linda Olson, CEO of Tampa Bay Wave, will introduce our investor focus panelists, answering some of your questions that you submitted when you registered on what investors look for, how to become an investor, and why having a robust private pool of investors is so important to Florida. As startups, these early stage companies really need the support of private investors to grow and thrive, creating jobs through innovation. There will also be a short Q&A after each panel, facilitated by WLP member, an amazing woman, Danielle Jones of Raymond James. Then Bridget Bello of Tampa Bay Business and Wealth Magazine will introduce our founder focus panel, answering some of the questions that you submitted on how they got started, why they take on the challenges of starting a company, what motivates them, and the unique challenges women face in this space. Following, a dear friend, Lila Javer of Florida's Women in Energy Leadership Forum will share dates of upcoming events hosted by a variety of community partners for your awareness. We will close with a call to action by the amazing Monica Angel of Synapse, the author of the post-event guide each participant will receive to inspire you to make connections, get engaged, and help make Tampa Bay and Florida a top innovation hub. That's all for now. Once again, thank you all for facilitating the partnership with WLP and allowing us to have a seat at the table. We thank you for your support of entrepreneurship and innovation and of women in our region. Now I'm going to turn it over to Alex.
Thank you, Andia. And thanks to WLP and USF for sponsoring yet again another incredible, amazing program, and for starting up WLP 15 years ago. What an amazing success story. And we're so proud of our USF supporters, for sure. I've been asked tonight to talk just a little bit about my role as an investor and why I got involved in investing in startups. Let me start off by saying that as it comes to women, we all know that there are far too few women who jump in to start up businesses. There are a number of reasons for this, but one of the reasons is that women have a lot harder time raising startup capital and attracting interest from investors than men do. And that's a topic for another night. But at the same time, we also know that when we look at the roster of investors in startups, there are not that many women represented. And I think it has a lot to do with risk. We know that as a former banker, I want to disclose that investing in startups can be risky, and they're not all going to turn out to be home runs. So the first rule of thumb is to recognize that there's risk. And the way that you mitigate that risk is by maybe choosing 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 companies to invest in, because they're not all going to be successful. But the ones who are successful, the reason I do this is because I want to feel ownership and feel a part of the success, particularly of women-owned businesses. So that's a little bit of what you're going to be exposed to and learn about tonight. I remember I got started about 15 years ago, and a couple of my former bank employees wanted to start a business. And I said, I believe in you, you're talented. I'll write a check and be one of your investors. And 15 years later, after I'd invested in 2 companies, I hadn't seen a check in the mail. But eventually, one of the founders called and said, Alex, I'm going to return 7 times your money. Well, that was a big celebration. And you might say, well, what happened to the other company? I'm still waiting, but they're still in business. That's the good news. Until I found Tampa Bay Wave. And The beauty about what you'll hear about from Linda Olson, the CEO of The Wave, is that The Wave runs a very professional incubator in which they nurture, they guide, they provide mentors. And Linda's going to tell you about a very exciting cohort that was sponsored just this year, just solely for women-owned businesses, because companies are understanding that we need to really focus on women-owned startups that have a little bit of a different challenge. So you can tell that one of the reasons I love doing this is because it's fun. So I decided to set aside between 5 and 10% of my investable assets, because I had a 401k, I had money in the stock market. And I said, I'm going to set aside 10% of my money to find good startups to invest in. And I'm particularly interested going forward in focusing on women-owned businesses. So you can choose to make a direct investment in a company, or you can choose to join a fund where your money is more spread out risk-wise. We have groups in town like Florida Funders and Seed Funders that you can choose to invest in. But mainly you want to bet on, there's an expression in investing that you want to bet on the jockey. In other words, bet on the woman who is starting the business and being sure that she's somebody you believe in, that has character, integrity, fortitude, and you're going to meet some of those women later on tonight. Well, let me finish up by saying that there are many ways, if you decide that you don't want to write a check and become an investor, there are other ways that you can support women entrepreneurs in our community. One is, besides investing, is to get involved and help them develop their product. Many of us have many connections in the community. And the most important thing that a woman can have who's starting a business is she needs somebody to buy her product. Think about Spanx. It's one thing to dream up the fact that women might want to wear pantyhose without legs in them. It's another to figure out who's going to buy the product. So a lot of times I'll be on the phone calling somebody and saying, I know somebody who has this product that I think you might be interested in. Become their customer, give them a chance. And then you can also introduce women-owned businesses to service providers like accountants and lawyers and marketing people, and send them over to the D. Garcia and Linda Olson at The Wave, and send them to Embark, and let them become aware of all the many resources that are available in our community through this School of Entrepreneurship at USF and HCC. And I'll finish there just by saying, for me, investing has been a lot of fun. Have I lost some money? Yes, but I've also earned some money. And so right now I'm ahead of the game. And my last word is, ladies, get in the game. Linda?
Sorry about that, guys. I was having trouble getting my mic turned on. But anyways, yes, so I'm Linda Olson, CEO and founder of Tampa Bay Wave. And as Alex and others mentioned, we are a nonprofit here in Tampa. And since 2013, we've worked with over 300 technology companies, primarily those based here in Tampa Bay. I'm going to be introducing a panel here in a minute that's going to be talking about investing here. And I'm here to tell you, yes, the struggles with the technology startups here in Tampa Bay to raise capital is real. And it's not just unique to Tampa Bay. It's actually a Florida issue. The data actually shows that Florida-based companies raise less than 2% of the nation's venture capital every year. And that's been going on for a couple of decades. But that's across all companies. What if you're a woman-led company? Or even worse, if I should say it, a woman of color? Women-led companies on a national level raise 2% of the nation's venture capital. And women of color, it's less than 1%. The last number I saw was 0.2% of the nation's venture capital. So you can see if you are a woman-led company and you're based here in Florida, you're at an extreme disadvantage. That's one of the reasons why we partnered with Embark Collective on a grant with JP Morgan Chase last year so that we could launch some new initiatives right here in Tampa Bay in Florida to help lift up and put a spotlight on some amazing women-led companies that are right here and bring some much needed resources and attention for the women-led companies. But I want to also point out, when you look at the technology sector as a whole, women make up over 30% of the technology labor force. So when you compare these ratios, you have to ask, why is there such a disparity when it comes to women-led startups and capital? And unfortunately, the problem is completely perpetual. The systemic issues and challenges that these women face lead to consistent, weak pipelines of women-led companies for investors, as well as women having the exits they need for them to become the investors themselves. So this panel that you're about to enjoy will help explore some of the various biases and other factors that are actually creating some of these challenges. But I hope you'll actually get from this discussion real inspiration that hopefully can lead to change and real action. We hope that some of you women who are listening will actually be inspired to pursue your entrepreneurial dreams. But we also want to help stir some conversations right here in our community that can lead to meaningful solutions for women-led companies so they don't just start here, but can stay here and grow here. So I'm going to pass the torch over here to Miss Susie Teal, and I'm going to let her introduce the panelists for our segment here. Susie, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Linda. I have to say it's an honor and a true delight to be involved with this event. I'm a very recent transplant to Florida, and I have moved here from Pittsburgh, where I've spent the past 20 plus years growing technology companies, finding money for technology companies, and also investing in technology companies. And I'm so excited to be in the Tampa area to participate in these same activities. And just in the few months that I've been here, I'm just amazed at the commitment and the excitement and the vibrancy in this environment, and looking very much forward to contributing to it. I am the head of marketing for a national institute that focuses on robotics in manufacturing. So we look a lot at ways that we can grow technology. I'm very honored to be the moderator for a panel of extraordinary women who will all give themselves a very quick introduction, and then we'll get right into the questions. So I'm just going to ask each of them to introduce themselves. Rebecca, do you mind starting to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm happy to. Hi, everyone. Very excited to be here today. I am coming to you from Miami, Florida, and I lead Miami Angels. We are an angel network. We have 100 accredited investors in our network, and we invest in early stage software companies and medical devices from all across the US. We were launched in 2014, and we've invested $13.7 million to date. So we're a very active angel investment group. And this year in 2020, we're on track to have a record year. So we've remained very active, and 61% of our portfolio comes from an underrepresented minority in tech. So although we do not have a diversity focused thesis, we look to have diversity in our portfolio.
Thank you, Rebecca. That's you'll have a lot of good insight to share with our participants today. Thank you. Next, I'm going to ask for Linda to share a little bit more about her background.
Hi, I'm Linda Simmons, and I'm President CEO of our Simmons group of companies. We design and build commercial buildings in Tampa Bay and in Florida. I'm also a founding member and a past chair of the WLP program that you heard about from India, and so excited that WLP is supporting this event today. My investments to date have been more traditional investments. My direct investments have been more in the commercial real estate oriented arena, but I've been wanting to branch out and get involved in the type of investments we're talking about today. So I'm new to this and can share the insight of someone new to the process.
Thank you, Linda. And last but certainly not least, Kirsty, would you like to introduce yourself quickly to the audience?
Sure. Thanks, Susie. Yeah, my name's Kirsty McCool, and my current endeavor is I'm the Executive Director of Innovation at Florida Blue, Guidewell. Guidewell is the holding company of Florida Blue, just in case you weren't sure about what was what there. And in my current role, I spend a lot of time meeting with all kinds of health and wellness tech startups from not just in Florida, but from all over the country, and finding really cool ones that can help reimagine the future of health. As you can see behind me here, that's what we do. As we all know, healthcare is in upheaval right now, and it's needs a lot of work. And so I love what I do, and hope that I can have a small role in maybe transforming how we provide healthcare to all of our population here, not just in Florida, but nationally. I believe I was invited to be on this panel partly because of that role, but also because in a past life I was the executive director of the Winter Park Angels, so I have run their angel group. So I've sat on the investor side, and I've been involved with the early stage tech startup scene here in Florida for a really long time. I hate to tell you how long ago I had my own tech company, but suffice it to say, it was a long time ago, before I ran the angel group. And I was on the hunt raising my own capital for my own tech startup company back in the day, and was able to raise about $13 million as a Florida-based female founder. Kept the company here, hired all my staff here. None of the capital came from Florida, and that's something I'm happy to talk about. But it can be done. So I'm just here to kind of hang out and kind of maybe straddle the fence between both sides of it. So thanks, Susie.
Sure. Thank you, Kirsty. Let's dive into the questions because we've got some great ones here. So what I'll do is read them, and then I'll just call on one of you to give an answer, one or more. The first question just has to do with what's happening overall in investing in women-owned businesses. So we've seen some trend where there has been some growth. About 13% of investors were women in 2017. And it looks like, based on research that we found, that it's about 25% in 2020. So there has been a noticeable increase interest of women to invest in women-owned companies. What do you think caused that increase? Rebecca, do you have any perspective on that you can share?
Yeah, I can actually share a recent anecdote, which is, as an angel group, we're a very community-driven organization. We do monthly pitch nights to get together, review deals. There's a lot of learning there because we have new people who are new to the asset class are also members of our group. And in March, like many people, we switched to virtual meetings, and now we meet via Zoom. And what I realized was that doing meetings in downtown Miami at 5:30 on a Monday was actually excluding a lot of women from joining. And now we do these virtual meetings, and I think and we've seen a lot more women join. So I want to remain doing that. I want to remain making it equitable and accessible for women to join.
Great. Thank you very much, Rebecca. And Kirsty, you mentioned your background in both someone who has invested or helped get investment money as somebody who has actually got money for their own company. What do you think makes an early stage company attractive to potential investors?
So Alex, I think, hit the nail on the head earlier when she said it's all about the team. So the number one thing that most investors would tell you that they consider the top reason to invest in a company is going to be the team. And this actually probably ties a little bit into, some of the not so good statistics that Linda was sharing earlier, because women are fantastic CEOs. There's pretty strong evidence, if you dig into it, about tech startups that are led by women do extraordinarily well when benchmarked against companies that are founded by guys. And it's nothing personal. We're just rock stars. What can we say? But the reality is we do have a difficult time sometimes pitching, because it's an aggressive sport to go raise capital. Back to the family, after five situation that was mentioned a second ago by Rebecca. Many women are trying to raise families, and for me, it was a roadshow event. I was gone for much of almost a year to raise that capital. So it was difficult, but it is about the team for sure, at number one. And then in the world of tech startups in particular, where you're raising equity capital, you need to have a highly scalable, high growth market that can accelerate in, somewhere between 3 to 8 years, depending on the type of company and the stage of the company. So that would be the second thing. And ironically, the product is in many cases in the world of tech a distant third, because with a good team and a good market, most good startups end up pivoting and iterating around their product a few times as they scale and grow. So.
Right, great. And Linda, I would like to throw that same question over to you as someone who is considering investing in, in women-owned companies or different types of investments based on, other than what you've invested on traditionally. Are there things other than what Christy mentioned that you might be looking for as you're thinking about investing?
Well, I think for me, in some ways, it ties to my philanthropic efforts. I've often supported women through philanthropy, and this seems like a natural way of saying, you need women who have resources to be able to help invest in women-led companies. And a number of my friends have been talking about it. We've been to programs at the Wave, and we've been educated a little bit and sparked the interest. And we feel that for us to help the next generation of women leaders, we need to step up and help. So, and more women in this country seem to be controlling more wealth. So we just have to get involved in a different area.
I like that statement. More women are controlling more wealth. That's very, very important trend that will continue to grow. So on that note about women and wealth, what vehicles are available to investors? And are there nuances to raising funds in Florida that makes us unique when we're compared to other regions? Rebecca, do you have any thoughts to share on that question?
Yes, so this can be a long technical answer, but I'll try to give a quick summary, which is that often in the venture capital asset class in the early stage, there's typically three vehicles and instruments that people use to invest. One is a safe agreement, one is a convertible note, and another one is investing in equity in the company. So when we're talking about nuances, convertible notes have been around a bit longer. I guess if you go in order of history, there's priced rounds, equity rounds, then convertible notes and safes are newer. And something that'll often happen if you're an entrepreneur in the room, you may notice that Florida kind of Southeast investors tend to use convertible notes more over safe notes. If you're an entrepreneur here or even an investor, I think either instrument is fine. If you are investing on a safe note, though, it's really important that there's a cap on it because that gives protections to investors. And it's a very high level view, but I'm happy to talk to anyone in further detail about it. And at Miami Angels, we actually do educational workshops on this. So I'm sure you all will get my contact information, and I'm happy to share any of that with anyone.
Thank you, Rebecca. I think at this point now, I'll turn it over to Danielle. She's got a couple bonus questions for this panel. So Danielle, do you want to take it from here?
Absolutely. So Susie, thank you so much for covering so much ground during our investor panel. We've had just a tremendous amount of questions that have come in from our audience today. And unfortunately, we're not going to have a chance to get to all of them, but there's one that's so good that I wanted to go ahead and ask each one of our panelists. So Linda, I'd like to start with you. As a woman with significant business acumen who's respected throughout the community, what is the one piece of advice you would offer to someone interested in learning more about the entrepreneurial ecosystem?
Well, I think you can network with your friends. I think you can participate in programs like we have today with the sponsors we have today. And obviously there's just a wealth of information out there, but I think it starts a lot with networking.
Yep, perfect. Thank you, Linda. And Kirsty, I mean, you've got an amazing background in innovation at GuideWell. Prior to that, you served in a role with over 600 incubators, accelerators, economic development programs. So same question, which I think you'll have some great insight on. What is the one piece of advice you would offer to someone who was new to this space as an entrepreneur or an investor wanting to learn more?
Well, I'm going to stick with the investor one first because I think the answer is very different between the two, although networking is definitely common across them both. Who you network with and how you network is slightly different. So If you're looking to become an investor, first of all, you need to be what's called an accredited investor. So hopefully you're not off investing the last of your savings account. So there's pretty strict rules that the Securities and Exchange Commission has on that. So make sure you learn about that a little bit. But there are some great resources for women that are interested in becoming angels. So I just wanted to throw out, first of all, the Angel Capital Association is a national nonprofit membership-driven organization that almost every angel group in the country, at least those that are legitimate, belong to or at least participating in some capacity. So great resources there around just the basics of how you become an angel investor and whatnot. Also a great networking opportunity. Something I've seen that I think is super cool is I've seen a rise in the last, probably in the last like just 3 to 5 years of women only, by women, for women angel groups. And they're all over the country. And most of them will look at a deal anywhere in the country. So that's great news if you're one of the entrepreneurs starting it, and they're going to be focused mostly on tech. They're equity-based investors as angel groups. And a lot of them have actually been founded by successful tech entrepreneurs, women that have exited out of their companies. So I have a small list of 1, 2, 3, I got about 10 of them sitting here on my screen that I have queued up. I'll put them in maybe the chat for everybody. I just have the names of them, but you can, I'm sure, Google them and find their websites. But I would say just network and learn. And if you're new to the investing community, I wouldn't do that on it. It's a team sport in the beginning while you join groups and from your peers and your colleagues. So join an angel group would be what I'd say to help reduce and diversify your risk.
Perfect. Thank you, Kirsty. And that was actually a wonderful segue over to you, Rebecca. So I'm going to ask you the same question, and then I think we've got time for one more follow-up question. But Rebecca, initial question to you. As the leader of Miami Angels, the largest angel network in Florida that supports companies with early traction across all kinds of sectors, what is the one piece of advice you would offer to someone who was new to the space as either an entrepreneur or an investor looking to learn more?
Well, first, if you are in the room today, you all heard Linda's statistics that she shared at the beginning on investment dollars going to female investors. So if you are an accredited investor with us today, it's time to start. We need you. We need you to begin investing. And my advice is really similar to what Kirsty said, which is it's a team sport. It's really hard to go at this alone, and there's wonderful resources out there. And I think the main thing is an angel group. I'm of course biased. We would love to have you at Miami Angels, but there are many great groups all throughout the country. And if you want to be a little more local too, there's many angel groups in Florida. It's just a question of researching them. Many are very open and will allow you to come sit on a meeting. Almost all of them are virtual right now too, so you can feel absolutely comfortable going to them. And happy to share a list of resources of other angel groups out there as well.
Perfect. And then Rebecca, for you, one more follow-up question for our entrepreneurs in the audience. For women-owned companies interested in securing an investment, can you give us 2 suggestions on how they can position themselves to be optimally attractive for investors?
Absolutely. So one just practical piece of advice is have a pitch deck ready. That is what all investors go with. We don't really use business plans, so you don't have to worry about that. Make sure you have an awesome pitch deck down. It should be about 10 to 15 slides and just give a great summary of your company. And now digging in on the specific advice, the most important thing is the team. You need to talk about yourselves. We as women aren't great about talking about ourselves, but it is time to shine. You are selling yourself even more than the business, because investors invest in the person. And then you want to show them that you have a big vision, because investors we need to get a big return. So we need to see that this is a big problem and you're solving it for many people. And then the other piece of advice, I'm losing my notes here. I think I gave it. Oh, yes. Show the investor that your customers love you. So any type of organic growth that you can show, that you have referrals, that people are searching for your business, those are great ways to attract investors, especially if you don't have revenue yet.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Rebecca. And ladies, thank you for all of your insight and participation on today's panel. And next up, I'm so excited to turn things over to a woman who really needs no introduction when it comes to the impact in the local ecosystem. A woman who once said, startup talent is made up of entrepreneurial people with big ideas, tremendous drive, and courage. She's certainly the epitome of all of these things. Please welcome Lakshmi Shenoy, CEO of Embark Collective.
Thanks, Danielle. Thank you for such a kind introduction. I appreciate it. My name is Lakshmi Shenoy. I'm the CEO of Embark Collective, which is a startup hub in downtown Tampa that provides intensive coaching to now nearly 60 early stage technology startups. And I am so lucky today to introduce our founder panel. Linda Olson had mentioned that Tampa Bay Wave and Embark Collective and JP Morgan are setting forth together on our quest to fix what we call the glaring gap between women entrepreneurs in Florida and male entrepreneurs here. And next week, Embark Collective will share our glaring gap report, which really outlines what is the state of entrepreneurship for women in Florida who are building a new technology venture. And one statistic I wanted to preview with all of you today is the fact that in 2019, only 23% of new startups in Florida had a woman on the founding team. Only 23%. And so that to me really demonstrates the opportunity. That demonstrates that we need to create pathways for more women to be able to make the leap to entrepreneurship. And so being able to have the panel today of successful entrepreneurs sharing their journeys, sharing the ups and downs, the support they've leveraged as they built, as well as how they have navigated a curveball like COVID, is so critical for any of us in the audience today who've been thinking, I have it in me, I just don't know when and how to start the endeavor of my new venture. So we are lucky to have Wendy Norfleet as our amazing moderator. You're going to love her. I've gotten to know her through the course of preparing for this program and really have gained an amazing appreciation for everything that she brings to the table. And she will introduce the panelists for our founder panel. Thanks so much. Wendy, you're muted.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction. I really appreciate it. And with me, I have Monica Hernandez and Robin, I'm gonna mess it up. I'm so sorry. Rusignolo. Okay, Summer, stop. I'm sorry, my daughter. You guys, I'm multitasking here. And I think I'm going to start off and let them introduce themselves. But while they're doing their brief introductions, I also want them to answer one of the questions that our attendees ask. What made you start your company, and how did you move from corporate to being a full-time entrepreneur?
Great, I'll get started. Hi, everyone. This is Monica Hernandez. I'm the founder and CEO of MAS Global Consulting here in Tampa Bay, and we have delivery centers in Latin America. So about me, I was born and raised in Colombia, beautiful Medellin, the city of eternal spring. And thanks to a full academic scholarship, I became a software engineer. So I am a woman in technology. We need more of us. And thanks to that, I came to the US. So I am a Latina immigrant, and I was able to build an amazing career in technology. My last role before I started Mass Global 9 years ago was as a consultant with Oracle Corporation. With them, I traveled the world and the US, and I helped large companies with very complex, large global projects. So I learned all about what the business needs were. And then I always had this idea that I needed to give back, right? With this amazing opportunity I had, I wanted to match my passion for technology, but also how do I provide others the type of opportunities that I received. And so I started MAS 9 years ago, and fast forward to today, we are 200 employees. We are in 5 countries, Argentina, Mexico, Colombia, Peru, and the US. And now we help businesses in the US leverage the latest technologies and innovate with our agile development teams. So it's been an amazing journey for me. And now we are able to provide the same type of scholarship that I received to other women in tech, both in the US and Colombia. So it's been full circle and a very rewarding experience as an entrepreneur. As far as how I moved from corporate America, you heard part of the story, but the other part is I became a mom. And I think all women, we try to get this balance between what we want in our careers, but how do we also, are close to our children. And so I was very fortunate. My husband said, hey, you have this idea of this company. We have a young daughter. I'll quit my job and you go build the business. So I stay with the kids. And so as a family, we were able to work together and do both. And I'm so happy that we did that because now we're one of the fastest growing companies in the US.
Okay. Thank you very much, Monica. And Robin, I'm going to turn it over to you for a brief introduction. The same thing. What made you start your company and how did you move from corporate to being a full-time entrepreneur?
Thank you, Wendy. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Just testing. It's so wonderful to be here. I'm Robin Rusignolo. I am the co-founder of Soul Venture. We're a back office platform for freelancers. There are over 60 million people freelancing in the United States today, millions more joining them every year. And our platform, we are an early stage startup, just launched our public beta last month, but our startup provides everything from access to business incorporation, benefits, invoicing and money management, and also helping freelancers find work. So my path to entrepreneurship is really unorthodox, and it was really all about taking a calculated risk and timing for me. So just a little bit about that story. I'm actually an attorney by background. I graduated from law school here in the St. Pete area in 2005. And after litigating for a few years, I moved in-house at a local company that was operating in the HR sphere on a national scale. So I was working as a corporate attorney for this company whose president and chief operating officer was also an attorney, but she was an incredible businesswoman. And I got to watch her for a few years in action and just really, really admired her and saw, just really what she was doing for this business. And she left to start after a year to start a competing company that grew exponentially. And that was just inspirational to me. So a couple years later, went to go work for a husband and wife entrepreneurial team in the Tampa Bay area who had a lot of mergers and acquisitions. They were frequently buying, selling companies. They had a couple really big exits. And it was very exciting. And at that point in time, I had started to wear kind of an operational role and just took on some more experience and just tried to learn the different facets of, accounting, kind of marketing, trying to build and run a business. And a couple of years after that, when the timing was right, I knew I wanted to go into the HR space, providing support for freelancers. And I had a wonderful colleague who's now my co-founder and CEO of Soul Venture, who had presented an incredible idea. And we, about a year and a half ago, formulated our business plan and formulated our exit strategy and raised $850,000 and launched Soul Venture. And now here we are with our app and our first customers. That's really exciting.
That sounds great. Thank you very much. You guys making me feel that I'm going backwards. My background is tech, and I actually was director of IT, and then I also ran technology for a college, and then I moved back to actually helping people with their leadership skills. But most of my clients are IT, though. It's really funny, and so it's great to help them in a different way. My next question, and I'm going to start with Robin on this one. What work relationship have you invested in that looking back now you're most grateful for? So once again, what work relationship have you invested in that looking back you're most grateful for?
without question, my co-founder, Eve Epstein. I've known her for several years. She had relocated from Washington, D.C. back to St. Pete. She's, I think, fifth generation St. Pete. And I had hired her. She was looking for a legal job. She joined the company. We didn't even have a position open, but she was so impressive. And so over the course of the ensuing few years, we became close. And when she pitched this idea for Soul Venture, it was a natural fit for both of us and our skill sets. And so we went from that working relationship to a co-founder relationship where she's the CEO of this business. And the investment over the last 18 months as that relationship has evolved has been significant. I mean, we are business partners. We start and end each week with our one-on-ones. We've invested in, a DISC assessment, a facilitation session to really learn how to work together and complement each other's work styles, and even have done some, professional coaching together as well. But by far the investment and the willingness to have brought her on board at that time has paid just dividends in the end, and really just changed the trajectory of my career.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think that's true for most women entrepreneurs. We always have that one relationship that we look back and say, oh my man, this just made things take off. So Monica, I'm gonna turn it over to you and ask you, what was that relationship for you that you're most grateful for now looking back?
I'm going to answer from a slightly different angle. I think we need to invest on relationships with communities such as like this. And I'll tell you why. I participated with a program with Stanford University for Latino entrepreneurs, and they do amazing research on what Latino entrepreneurs face when they try to scale their businesses. And they always talk about how to think big, right? And how to think about the future. And so all of us as business leaders, we need to think about, are we working on the business or in the business? How can we really find those advisors, coaches, mentors? How do we invest in those relationships so that they guide our way, and so that we avoid making mistakes that they already made, and now we can learn from them. So I will encourage everyone to find that support system. We are also a women-owned company, minority-owned company. So we belong to organizations like Women's President Organization, We Bank, National Minority Supplier Diversity Council. So I think investing on those relationships in those communities can really help you in your entrepreneurship journey.
Okay, thank you. So not just one, we need to invest in many relationships. Very good. So our last speaker panel, I think it was Rebecca, who said that they have really been pivoting. They've actually doing record business, but they've had to pivot because of COVID-19. So Monica, how has the pandemic impacted your business? How have you had to pivot to, stay moving forward?
We've been extremely fortunate because we are in technology. And as you probably heard, even though some industries are really having challenges, digital acceleration is definitely a trend. Every company knows that being digital first is really going to help them survive this or any sort of crisis. So companies are really investing in the type of services that we provide. So we were already in fast growth mode, and that has definitely even accelerated. This is probably our best business year ever, even in the middle of a crisis. And so I've been attending a Gartner conference this week, talking about trends and what will happen by 2025. One of the interesting research is by 2023, cloud-based artificial intelligence will increase 5 times from 2019. So think about that, the amazing opportunities that we have in businesses to really leverage cloud and artificial intelligence. So if anything, instead of pivoting, we're actually doubling down on making sure our offerings in cloud and artificial intelligence are actually relevant for the market.
All right, thank you. And Robin, same thing. How have you had to pivot in order to keep moving forward, during this time where everyone was kind of in chaos?
Well, my story isn't quite as good as Monica's, because as an early stage startup, we were planning our go-to-market strategy in conjunction with South by Southwest, which was canceled at the last minute. So almost all of the build up to then, it was a complete pivot. And I do want to say we were fortunate enough to have gone through the fall 2019 cohort at the Tampa Bay Wave. So we had this great runway of kind of, 3 months where we were getting, just getting our pitch together. And we really had done a lot of work on our go-to-market strategy and how we were planning to just launch. We had done a lot of development work on our product itself. And that was a complete, 180. So this was really how we were initially planning on getting a big marketing splash and a couple thousand early beta users on our app. So we really just had to look for alternative ways and different channels to try to raise brand awareness in a time when people were really, really preoccupied. And it was, I cannot lie, it was very difficult. We had to do a lot of HubSpot training courses to understand how to do some digital marketing and really just read a lot of books in preparation for this launch. And it was a little bit of a setback, but we're here today. We've launched, we have hundreds of customers in our app at this point. So I would say the marketing, just figuring out how we were going to market and raise brand awareness was really the biggest pivot for us. And it stung a little bit, I can't lie.
I think we all face some challenges, but I must say that business has really started climbing back up in this last couple of months. So I'm glad to, at least for me, so I'm really glad to hear that. Last question, according to our little note. So how did you make your first or your initial hire? That's always important because a lot of people have troubles hiring people. They don't know what to look for, or sometimes people get people too much like them. And sometimes there's some clashing going on. So Monica, how did you make your initial hire? You have 200 employees.
Yeah, so our very first hire was a software engineer, a developer. And so lucky for me, I am a software engineer, so I had to do the interview myself, down to the technical interview. And I'm happy to report that employee is still with us, and it's just been really rewarding to see how they grow professionally and how their families have benefited. But one thing I would say, when you start, there's no brand. The brand is you. And so you have to be an inspirational leader. You have to tell a story that will make people say, yes, I want to work with her because she has an amazing story, an amazing idea. This is her purpose. I believe in her. And so I think that's part of it. When you don't have a brand or a lot of capital, you just inspire people to be part of your journey.
All right, thank you very much. And Robin, I'm gonna turn it over to you. Do you have employees yet, part-time?
We do.
Okay. So how did you hire that initial employee? What was the what made you, or how did you make your initial hire?
Unfortunately, fairly poorly. And I should know better. I've worked in HR for almost the duration of my career. I think for Eve and I, we needed a technical co-founder. We are not engineers. And we took a hiring, kind of a hiring process to entrepreneurship and to finding that technical role. We took that from what we had learned in business, and it wasn't the right process. So we, put ads on Indeed and, just took resumes, and we went through a very methodical process of reviewing resumes and conducting interviews. We really, in retrospect, and we did make the decision very quickly to move away from the person we hired and hire the right person. But in retrospect, I think we would have done a little more networking at the outset, a little more asking people who had done this before for some lessons learned, because it is very different when you're starting your company and you're looking for one of those initial hires that's going to really offset some skills gaps that you might have. So it was a lesson learned, and ultimately it did lead us to the right person. But it was a little bit of a process to get there.
Okay. Just curious, did you use like a technical expert to help you guide that first hire, or just you and your co-founder?
We read a lot of books on product development.
We know books. Okay. Monica and I are laughing at you, but it's in love. Okay. But we're laughing at you.
We did the second time without question. And I would also just say this was another great resource for us in Tampa Bay, that our development partner we were connected to through the ecosystem and through the Wave, it ultimately led us to where we are today. So there are going to be bumps in the road. And I would say, I think, what is the saying? Hire fast, fire faster. You
yes.
know when it's not the right fit.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of being an entrepreneur is we do make mistakes, but you do have to let them go. It can't be that lingering, that lingering and festering, because that will bring your business down. And so that's really important. Do we have one more or minute or no? Okay, they're like, all right, you guys, thank you very much. Thank you for sharing some of your insight and what you went through. I'm sure it was great information. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so, Wendy, Monica, and Robin, again, thank you so much for sharing with us some incredible insight this evening into your entrepreneurial journeys. I'm going to sneak one more question from the audience in here for the both of you to answer. And here it is. As some of the most admired entrepreneurs in this region and beyond, what can those of us who are listening tonight do to help uplift and support other women founders and entrepreneurs like yourselves in this community? Robin, do you want to go first?
I sure will. Well, first of all, I think Linda had said this in the last panel. I believe just the power of networking and being a part of organizations and groups like this, events like these, I think are really important. And then also just providing real just tactical support to people who need it. I have never hesitated to ask for help, guidance, assistance. And when people come to me with those same requests, I will show up. I shouldn't say there's no request that I'll turn down, but there are skills, legal skills, now, some business skills, accounting skills that I can offer, and each founder has their own set of skills, or entrepreneur has their own set of skills. So really be available when people ask, but also put yourselves into situations to be able to support, help, and mentor others.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Robin. And the other thing I wanted to say to you tonight is thanks for sharing the parts of your journey where, there were stumbling blocks. I think those are the opportunities where we can learn. And I think that that's incredibly brave. So, I think it's amazing that you shared not only what went amazing, but what was a little bit challenging. I think that those are important pieces to hear. And Monica, same question for you. I mean, you've just had a profound impact on the local economy, on the local community, incredibly admired throughout the region. What can those of us listening tonight do to help uplift and support other women from your perspective?
I couldn't agree with you more. I love that Robin shared her struggles. We all need to do that because success is not linear and we all have bad days. Those will come, and that's where we need resiliency, right? And so we need to support each other and need to open up. So I think we need to listen carefully to other women entrepreneurs and see what they need. We all talk about networking, but networking is again full circle. If everyone is asking for help, who is giving the help? So also listening to those women to see how can I help you? We all have something to offer. Knowledge, mentoring, resources, connections, introduction. There's so much that we can do to help. So I think that that's part of it, being willing to listen and to figure out how we can make a difference. And at the end of the day, it's paying it forward, right? If we're being successful, then how do we reach back and pay it forward?
Well, I have to say thank you to each of you this evening for paying it forward with your time and being on this panel and sharing your insight and your perspective. And next up, I'm so excited to hand it over to a woman who is known as a titan in Tampa Bay's publishing scene. Our next guest and co-host of this evening's event is herself no stranger to building, launching, and growing her own venture. Please welcome CEO and publisher of the Tampa Bay Business and Wealth magazine, Bridget Bello.
Danielle, thank you so much. And thank you guys for allowing me and TBBW to be a part of today's program. We launched our own startup in May of 2018, and I can speak for myself and say it's been a wonderful and at times very stressful journey. As I experienced, but some of you may not know, an early stage company founder typically gets less than 5 minutes to make their case to any given investor, whether it's at a meeting or a part of a networking event. Their story has to be compelling. They have to weave together the who, the what, the where, the why, and the how, and most importantly, the how big, which refers to the marketplace. They have to be able to demonstrate how they'll monetize their offering so that a potential investor can see how they'll make a return on their investment. If they're successful in piquing the interest of that investor, detailed meetings follow to negotiate terms, ownership percentages, dilution, all those things and more. Oftentimes, a really good investor can be a mentor or a coach and even a network resource to help connect the startup to others in the community who could be buyers or provide other opportunities. I'm certainly forever grateful for those who chose to invest in me and TBBW, and we wouldn't be here without them. So it's definitely an important part of launching a new startup and new business. Starting a new business is challenging. Juggling getting the product or the app through its testing and launch, finding talented people to employ, as we were just talking about, navigating legal negotiations, finding funding, fending off your competitors, and so very much more. As I have found, it can be really rewarding for both the founders and their investors, both financially and spiritually, and heartwarming to say the least. I now have the honor, as my computer falls over, it's not a Zoom unless somebody has tech problems, right? Sorry about that. Okay, and I lost my place. I now have the honor of introducing two of these such founders to you. Please meet Fetfully founder, Ellery Linder. She is, sorry, you guys. She is the co-founder of Wherewithal, a startup that we can all get excited about. I wish I could see you guys because I'm going to ask a question that's going to be rhetorical, but is there anyone on the call that loves their bra? I certainly don't. And I'm betting none of you do either. Ellery and her company are revolutionizing a 100-plus-year-old product where approximately 80% of us wear the wrong size. They're introducing 118 new personalized bra sizes while requiring their retailers to carry far less inventory. Wherewithal already has a waiting list of 2,000 interested customers, and I'm pretty sure that number is going to swell after you guys see what they're doing. Following Ellery, we have Gigi McDowell. Gigi has an event platform helping to connect event planners to those that need them the most. They did $350,000 in their first year, and they're on track to more than double that in 2020. As someone who runs about 25, 30 events a year, I can honestly say I'm excited about this product. I look forward to seeing how it can help me and TBBW. So Gigi, I do. Ladies, thank you both for being here today. We're excited to see your pitch, and I personally can't wait to be a customer of your products. Thank you, and take it away.
I'm Ellery, and I'm so excited to be speaking with you today because no one understands the struggles of bras better than women. In fact, my co-founder Danielle actually bought a sewing machine and started teaching herself to sew because of her own frustrations with bras. It was through this struggle our design for a better bra was born. I met Danielle during our time at the Home Shopping Network and immediately connected to the problem she was solving because I, like so many women, have never felt comfortable in how I looked or felt in a bra. As a petite woman with a larger cup, finding something in my size was impossible. Eventually, I decided to have a breast reduction, and while I finally found confidence in my body, I was shocked that the problem of fit still persisted. That's because bra sizing is confusing. The cup and band sizing system we use today was designed almost 100 years ago. Because of this traditional design, bra sizing is very specific, and individual bras have limited flexibility, creating an overwhelming amount of sizes. For retailers, this makes inventory logistics costly, so most choose to carry a limited amount of options. For example, Victoria's Secret carries only 33 sizes. Victoria's Secret's slipping market share is being captured by newer direct-to-consumer brands, but fit is still a major issue because over 80% of women are wearing the wrong size bra. For too long, this antiquated bra design has created size limitations, forcing us to fit into what we can find on the shelf, until now. Our new patent-pending design allows us to provide unparalleled size inclusivity. Our design considers not just measurements, but also individual preference. and personality and sodium intake and juice cleanses and that time of the month with a bra and sizing system created to adapt to the ever-changing bodies we call home. Our solution is our back band, which is designed using a sliding functionality in place of traditional hook and eye closures. Each Wherewithal bra can be adjusted to fit 64 unique measurements. For the first time ever, our customer can create her own size down to the exact millimeter. Thanks to this adjustable design, one Wherewithal bra is equal to 3 traditional bra sizes. By offering a more accurate and personal fit, we beat the 30 to 40% return rates of our competitors because our customer is in control of her size. And speaking of size, say hello to our new adjustable sizing system. Our bra design allowed us to group bands into several inch increments, creating proprietary group sizing. By taking just 3 key measurements, we will match each customer with a size set designed to meet her needs, taking the guesswork out of the complicated sizing of today. With just 63 SKUs, we will offer 247 sizes. By introducing 118 new odd number bra sizes, we will cater to women who fall into traditional sizes, odd number sizes, and every size in between. In total, this is nearly 300% more sizes with 78% less inventory than any other retailer. We've been patent pending since last February and have built a waitlist of over 2,000 customers and growing. I'm excited to share that our soft launch is set for this February. My co-founder Danielle and I met at the Home Shopping Network and have a combined 10 years of e-commerce, brand marketing, and social media expertise. Our team has over 50 years of design, manufacturing, and sourcing experience working for some of the biggest names in the industry, including L Brands, Comar, and Veronica Beard. If you're interested in learning more about investment opportunities, please email me at ellery@shopwherewithal.com. We would love for you to follow us on social at Shop Wherewithal and invite you to head to our website to join our waitlist. Every woman's journey is unique to only them, which is why we created a bra that fits and feels more personal. Our mission is to provide you, no matter where you are on your journey, with the support to do. To close, I'd like you all to think about the one woman you're excited to tell we've created better bras to wear withal. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gigi McDowell, founder and CEO of Fitfully. I began planning weddings when I was 5 years old and started my first wedding planning business when I was 13. Later, I had an experience many people can only dream of when I was featured on ABC Family. Business was great, but one day there was a bride sitting in front of me crying because she couldn't afford a planner. I made the mistake of assuming technology would help get her down the aisle, but boy was I wrong. I later learned that each year, 2.5 million couples get married in the U.S. 71% of those couples don't hire a planner because they can't afford one. So they're spending 528 hours planning their wedding on their own. On the other hand, planners are underutilized and suffer from low deal flow and low event bookings because of pricing. 89% work full-time jobs in addition to running their companies. There needed to be a way to give people the benefits of a planner at a price they can afford, and we're the perfect team to build and scale the solution. Assad is our Forbes 30 Under 30 CTO who specializes in automation and machine learning, while Ashley was one of the earliest employees of the Knot and Waiting Wire. We're advised and supported by our investor and blitzscaling guru, Chris Ye, who's backed companies like Rocket Lawyer, Gusto, and Ustream. And I was recently recognized by Google as one of the 30 Black founders to watch in 2021. Together, we're building Fitfully, a wedding and event planning platform with a personal approach and a human touch. We have decreased the cost of professional planning by over 80%, while also creating a way for planners to make money in their spare time. Our value proposition is the ability to have one-on-one virtual meetings with planners, maintaining a human connection while technology handles all coordination and logistics. Our secret sauce is that we have high-end and celebrity planners, including the planners of Kim Kardashian, Jennifer Lopez, and Justin Timberlake, planning with everyday couples through our platform. And it's not only weddings. We've done 14 types of events, ranging from birthday parties and bridal showers to holiday parties and business summits. We launched privately in 2019 and were able to complete 321 weddings and events, earning $350,000 in revenue in our first year. And we're projected to hit $750,000 for this year by the end of the year. As a result of the pandemic, we now have a wait list of over 1,000 users, creating a pipeline of immediate bookings, leaving $1.3 million in potential revenue just sitting on the table. The demand for help with planning one of the most important events of people's lives just affirms that professional planning should be accessible and affordable for everyone. If you're interested in learning more about investing in Fitfully or how to join our wait list, please reach out to me. My team and I invite you to join us in creating a world where everyone can experience celebrations that honor their relationships or personal milestones and gives them time, comfort, and peace to enjoy the moments that matter. Will you say I do?
I do.
So Gigi and Ellery, oh, there we go. Gigi and Ellery, thank you so much for sharing both of your amazing pitches this evening. I do have some questions for each of you, but before I ask the questions, the one thing I wanted to remind the audience is, if you've never seen a pitch before, these are two really great examples of business pitches. And I would also just like to encourage you to remember that these two fantastic companies are just a taste of all of the fantastic companies that are out here ran by women in our local ecosystem. So hopefully tonight's getting you excited about those. But enough about the other companies. Back to the two of you, right? Ellery, given that your business is literally uplifting women and with tremendous current growth potential, for people who are interested in learning more about your company or how they can support you or how they can get involved, what are some things that they can do? How can they reach out to you, learn more? Where do they go from here?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me tonight. And if anyone is interested in learning more, you can definitely reach out to me. I think my email was up on the pitch and hopefully it'll be shared afterwards. But we also have a website. And so what we've been doing, it's been really important to my co-founder, Danielle, and I, that along this journey and as we've been kind of building our product and simultaneously building our community and building up our wait list, we wanted it to feel organic and natural. We haven't spent any money on marketing thus far. And, our goal is really to stay lean during our first year when it comes to marketing spend. So, we've been blown away by just how many women have this like outpouring of problems, for lack of a better word, that we'll walk into a room and, when people ask, well, what do you do? And we're like, well, we actually have a bra company. All of a sudden we'll look up and we're surrounded by 15 other women who are all talking about the things that they don't like about their bras. And so I think it's easy to say that, I think all of us have experienced that at one point or another. So all of the outreach that we've done thus far has really been about like listening to our customers and making sure that the product that we are building and bringing to market really reflects the pain points that we have as consumers. And so, you can definitely join our wait list. We're not spamming anybody's inbox right now. For us, it's really about using that as a vehicle for us to engage with consumers once we're getting ready to launch. So I had shared that in the deck, but we are getting ready to soft launch in February. So we'll be sharing more information then. You can also follow us on social media at Shop Wherewithal.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Ellery. And I have to say what you just said is so very true. I remember the first time that I ever met you at an event and you told me what you did. Our conversation completely devolved into bras and the challenges with those. So I think that's something universal that we can all relate to. Now, Gigi, to pivot over to you, I couldn't help but kind of stick on one thing that you said in your presentation, over $1 million on the table, Gigi. So, for you with a booming business that's tying the knot between best-in-class planners and brides, how can people learn more about what you're doing and stay up to date with the tremendous traction that you're generating right now?
Yes. So the two sides of that, couples, I'd love for you to go on if there's anyone who's interested in using us for any types of events, whether you're a couple, you have a business event that you're trying to plan, go to our website and take our quiz. I think you'll think it's pretty fun, and that automatically puts you on our wait list. But then for anyone who's like an investor or just a business mentor and you want to stay updated with us, just send me an email. I usually send out emails once a month updating, but because we are growing really fast, those emails have gotten to 2 or 3 a month because things are moving so fast. So I love for you to connect with me on LinkedIn, through email, any way that you can. I'm pretty open. I try to keep it really personal because this is a very personal business. And so I communicate our growth, our wait list, and our traction with everyone, all of our mentors, each and every month, 3 or 4 times a month. So that's a great way to stay connected with me.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Gigi. And again, for our audience tonight, please do reach out to Ellery, reach out to Gigi. They're the perfect example of women-ran businesses that you can support, as are Robin and Monica from our earlier panel, right? So please do reach out to these individuals. Contact information will be listed in a packet, a digital goodie bag, if you will, that we're sending to all attendees after this evening. And, to close out things this evening, we're about to transition over to another just phenomenal woman in our local community. This woman is a nationally recognized attorney who has won awards related to diversity and inclusion. She is currently a board member for the Chesapeake Utilities Corporation. She was appointed by the governor to oversee the Florida Public Service Commission and has also received the Commission of Kentucky Colonel by Kentucky's governor. This woman is a literal powerhouse, Miss Lila Jaber, founder of Florida's Women in Energy Leadership Forum. And the forum is an honored sponsor who helped make this evening's event possible. Lila, I'm going to go ahead and pass the torch over to you.
Thank you so much. I don't know about all of you. I am so excited about this evening's event. I learned so much. I can't wait to personally connect with all of the participants. We don't talk enough about how your entrepreneurship and your innovations don't just provide immediate economic empowerment for each of you and job creation. We don't talk nearly enough about how your hard work impacts generations to come, changes your families for generations to come, and improves the economy of the respective states. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for doing your part. Thank you for the courage it takes to engage. But our work is not done, is it? And so what do the rest of us need to do? We can be that mentor. We can be that investor. We can assist with networking. We can create platforms that provide opportunity. Thank you to Dee. Thank you for Tampa Bay Wave for doing your part. And there are others. So tonight, I've got the privilege of sharing just a few more networking opportunities for this group. And I hope you encourage and invite others to attend. And I hope you share the feedback from tonight. Everyone can learn something new when we participate in these kinds of events. So the first one, Tampa Bay Wave has its Tech Women Rising Pitch Night on October 29th from 5:30 to 7. Join us to meet 13 exciting new female-led technology startups. Thank you to JP Morgan Chase for sponsoring. Tampa Bay Tech has the 17th annual Tampa Bay Tech Awards show. It's a virtual forum as well, Thursday, November 12th at 4 p.m. It's hosting a virtual career expo on October 28th as well from 9 to 7. And it's in partnership with the Software CEO Council. My initiative, the Florida's Women in Energy Leadership Forum, started in 2015 because over the years, frankly, was tired of seeing only a male-dominated industry and very often being the only woman in the room in a highly regulated, highly successful and sustainable industry cluster. So when I finally could do something about it, I created a dialogue for men and women to come together and learn and network and provide opportunities for tomorrow's workforce by allowing women, the highest ranking women in the energy sector, to be on a platform to use their personal stories of success and innovation with the hope that we can inform, inspire, and motivate the next generation of workforce. So we're in our 5th year. The next forum will be November 11th through the 13th. You can visit the website to learn more and to register. It's flwomeninenergy.com. I'm thrilled to say, for 5 years in a row, all of the Florida electric and natural gas companies are sponsors of this event, and most of the CEOs are on this year's program. So tune in to learn more and to network with the energy companies. Synapse, Converge Global Entrepreneur Week edition is November 16th through the 19th, featuring 2 distinct tracks of content, a startup toolkit and a leadership track. All tickets are free. We want to thank Truist for making that happen. And you can register for that event at synapseconverge.com. Finally, Operations Startup at HCC is hosting their 8th annual Veterans Symposium, November 7th from 8:30 to 4. I am sure there are additional forums and additional opportunities. I know that Dee would agree with me that if you share those events with Dee, she would distribute it to the Tampa Bay Wave followers and all of us, and we'll do our part to share. Thank you for allowing us to be part of this. It's such a pleasure to be with all of you. And I too, just like the other participants, am available for any questions, mentoring, or help that I can provide. Have a great evening. I'm going to pitch it back to Monica.
Thank you so much, Lila. Thank you to everybody who participated with us tonight, both those who are on the panels and on our screens tonight, but also those participants who have registered and joined us. Over 370 women have joined us tonight for tonight's event, and we are so thankful that you have offered your time to us. And most importantly, that you learned something with us here tonight. I certainly know that I have. There are so many women that I respect who've shared with us tonight. A couple of good takeaways for me was at the very beginning when India thanked us for allowing WLP to have a seat at the table. You got to laugh at that, right? Collectively, we are building a better table. That's the goal. That's what we're doing here. Together as women supporting women, we are building a better table and making sure that we all have a seat there. So we encourage you to make sure that you're building a better table too. You are going to get an email from us with some dates that are coming up, certainly some of the ones that Lila just mentioned, but also some resources that were shared by our panelists tonight, some contact information for you there. So please don't feel like you got to be jotting it all down very quickly. We're going to send that all to you. Also, for any of our community partners, if your events are not included in that, please let us know. We do have an events calendar for events that are going on all throughout the state, all throughout the year. We host that on our Synapse website. So please just let us know and we can get that added for you. We also want to always encourage you to follow all of these organizations on social media: Synapse, The Wave, Embark Collective, Tampa Bay Business and Wealth Magazine, all of our partner companies who have joined us tonight and our sponsors. I know that we are running a little bit over, so I just want to say one quick last thing for you, and that is to refrain what Honorable Alex Sink said, get in the game. So what we'd like to do is invite you, consider this your call to action. Now is the time to get in the game, whether that is moving forward with that idea that you may have had and it's just kind of going around the back of your head somewhere, or you're interested in investing and you'd like to learn more, reach out to us, reach out to our panelists, connect with us. That is what we are here for. We are really excited for you. And like she said, get in the game. Thank you.